Hello everyone, welcome to my round one post game analysis for the Grand Prix for Revolution Custom Magic. The standard format with only user submitted sets, this time for GP Dawnbloom Groove. So, as it is the first set of the rotation, the meta hasn't stabilized yet, and we're seeing a lot of different decks. I'm personally on blue-red spells. So on the I loaded the wrong deck. Oops. There we go. So on the bottom there, so you can see by the 25 instant sorceries, the goal is to cast instant sorceries, most of which are either removal, like this bolt, this is a bounce spell, or card selections, like this one, which cantrips. This is a loot effect. This is a loot effect. This also loots, and then benefit off of it with either Savvy with which can do basically everything. It's the most consistent card. Brass Oracle to kill people because it grows on instants and burns on spells, on sorceries. And finally, the new addition of Clash at Mistress Veil, which creates soldiers whenever you get a non-creature spell. Um, so unlike previous lists, I went down on Cryophoenixes. These allow you to bounce instants and sorceries that you cast with flashback to hand instead of exile. I found it less ideal here because I added more top end, so I needed to cut stuff like Igneous Visions. And once you start cutting those spells. The only flashbacks you have are starting to be quite expensive. Firebolt is 5 mana, Echo Chant is 3, this one is also 3. So I went down on those and more of a traditional UR spell list. Um, I included Get Your Wish because it can now search for engine pieces in Clash Atmosphere's Veil, which is probably the best card in the deck. And it also serves as a two spell cast if you have at least something on the board. Um, on the other hand, my opponent, so it was Tree, was playing Naya tokens. So with a lot of small token makers between Sparks of Revolution, Sainted Marsh, and Ragtag Swag, and also Runes Awaken. The idea is to make a lot of tokens and either grow the tokens with EO, who put the tokens at 3/3, and Honesty, which is a new enchantment, which puts counter on creatures, and if two creatures enter, you can buff every creature as well. And finally, another new addition in Proclaimer of Blooming Wings, which create a 1/1 token when it attacks. So there's just another token ETB. The deck can also go tall with a Kitsune Matriarch, which can grow very fast out of control. I'll go into the sideboard in the game review. So, um, now that we have both decks and how they want to play, let's look at how the matchup should go. First, they're the aggro deck and they have very little interactions. That means that if I get ahead, I'm probably winning the game. So, how do I stop their beatdown and what even do I have to stop? First, as I mentioned, Kitsune Matriarch can grow very fast, and my removal spells only deal 3 damage at most, with a high voltage and 3 soul charm. I can bounce it eventually, but they'll replay it, so I would rather not let the Kitsune Matriarch grow out of control, but it's fine. I can deal with it. EO buffs all creatures to 3/3. They can break parity with the Honesty, but since I'm going to be making a lot of tokens with either Clash or Savvy Smith, I think I'm fine on this points. And finally, Honesty, which I call Harmony in my notes, oops, um, is the main issue. Um, it puts a lot of counters on everything, and it can tap down blockers. So if they get ahead, uh, and I cannot remove Honesty, I'm probably screwed. However, I have answers to it. I do have Erase from its existence, which can bounce it and even to the top of their deck. Because I'm assuming they are not going to put it on bottom. And Freeze-Throw Charm can counter non-creature permanent spells, which is mostly Honesty in this match, in the main board. So then, what are my key cards? As I mentioned, Clash and Savvy Smith basically stops their aggression. Um, Early removal for Matriarch is good before it scales out of control. Firebolt, pretty good, 1 mana removal. Three Straddle Charm, very versatile. 3 damage at instant speed can be very tricky. And if I have to, I can also use High Voltage if I have another spell, or Set Ablaze. But Set Ablaze being a 2 mana spell that only deals 2, and that sometimes the Kitsune Matriarch can grow out of control. Um, so basically how this matchup looks like is going to go. Obviously I've played the games. This is a post-game review. But from looking at the matchup, what I can gather is that they're going to make tokens, try to aggress me, and my goal is to get the Savvy Smith or Clash engine online before my life total reaches 0. But one thing I can note is that they have very little burn, so they have the shock in sideboard, and their only main board burn is Edgeland Privilege, which they have to spend 3 mana for 2 damage. So if I can stabilize the board, I probably will win the game and they cannot get through. So I'll see you in the game. All right, we're into game one. So my opponent won the dice roll. Um, we'll see both opening hands, but I'll be talking most about mine because that's what I know about. In my hand, I can see the temples, which can tap for any color pair. So blue and red for me. They enter untapped in the early game, which is very good. I have 1 mana removal for Kitsune Matriarch if it comes down to that. Smith, which is the engine. Another removal in Erase from Existence. An Echo Chant to do some filtering. And I eventually get to Cry of Phoenix if it needs to be. Now I can see my opponent's hand, which is the upside of doing this on a replay. They happen to have the Kitsune Matriarch, but they also have two Proclaim of Blooming Wings, which can be a lot of aggression and Sparks of Revolution. And they also have Edgeland Pledge. If I remember correctly, they ended up keeping this hand. So let's see how it plays out. So obviously they're going to shock in the Boros land, and I mean fast forward, I need to not do that. And play Kitsune Matriarch because if I don't have the removal, they can just win the game on the spot. I end up having the removal, so I can deal with that. And I didn't have another 1 drop anyway. So they draw, obviously. They thought that Ruins Awaken, which is 2 tokens, they didn't have another way to make 2 tokens right now. So that's good for them. I do remember them playing it, yeah. Because since their other color was green, they could not play 2 Blooming Wings. I think I play Savvy Smith and chill here, yeah. Because they're not really threatening anything. I can bounce stuff in if I need to. So here they do not draw into a land, yeah. So I think they use Pledge and start swinging for 4 with the 2 golems. Um, if I remember correctly. But yeah, they're considering the options because Pledge could kill the Savvy Smith if they had another mana for it. If they had the extra red to pay for the cost. They may be also considering playing around Sparks of Revolution, but doing so means my Savvy Smith can eat a token per turn, so yeah, they don't go for it. Just make the Solidarity token. Obviously, I'm not going to trade Savvy Smith for a 1/1, especially when I can erase from existence the Solidarity token. So here I'm kinda awkward in an awkward position because my Lost by a Bluff enters tapped because my duels do not count as islands. I could set ablaze a token and create another token with Smith to block the other one, but I don't think that's really doing anything. On the other hand, I could loot some cards, but I like the cards in my hand. I could play the other Smith, but that would be kinda greedy. And they do draw into AO, which they cannot play because they don't have the amount of lands for that. That's why I'm not a big particularly fan of this deck. So here they swing for 4, and obviously I have the erase from existence, so I can bounce the solidarity token, which nullifies it, and make a golem with the Smith. So I can 3 for 1 them basically. I mean 2 for 1 because they used another spell for it. But my Smith no longer dies. I have no reason not to block if I do use the erase from existence. Because their burn spells deal 2, so uh marking the 1 damage does not do anything. So I do go for the erase and make a token off of it. I could add mana, there's no reason to do that. I could loot, but I like my hands. And now I'm just going to to block each golem with a creature, take no damage, and empty their board. Obviously, we know that they're going to use the Runes Awaken or 1-drops, but since they cannot cast 2 1-drops with the Forest, it's probably going to be a Runes, and my token dies, obviously. And from this spot, I think I just win the game. Like, I know they're lane screwed, and they're not doing anything anyway. So I don't have, in hindsight now, I can see that I don't have removal if AO comes down, but I also don't think AO does anything. Here I have 3 mana because this land enters tapped, so I can use Echo Chant, make a mana off of Smith, and play the other Smith, or play Set Ablaze, depending on what I draw. I do make the red mana and see what I draw. I do draw into an untap land, so I think I end up playing it, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I take some time to think on the discard here, uh, but it should be a land anyway, and it does end up being the temple, I think. I consider playing Cryo Phoenix, but I don't have anything to wheel, and my spells are a bit too expensive to start flashbacking, start using them on flashback consistently. So I just use the 2 mana to play a Smith, and realize I could have maybe used the Echo Chance the Savvy Smith trigger on Echo Chant to make a token, but I have 2 Savvy Smiths, I'm good. Like, even if they do they could end up playing EO here, I could just trade a Golem for a Warlock and be fine, and then Savvy Smith just goes to town. So they do just play a Proclaimer because they have nothing else to do, really, and I'm just chilling. I can start using my flashback spells to get value. I could play this. I don't remember what I end up going for. Probably play Crow Phoenix, swing for 2, and close out the game this way. Because now I can start looping the Echo Chance. Or maybe I play Cedar Blaze and then drop into something crazy, I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, I do play Cedar Blaze on the Proclaimer, mostly because I have no better play to do. I get a mana off of Smith to play the Crow Phoenix. Probably discard the Breath Oracle, draw a card, yep. And I end up drawing into an even better card in Clash at Mystery Veil. Um, Sadly, this is a non-creature. This cares about non-creature spells, and Sally Smith only cares about instant and sorceries, so they don't trigger off of it. But I do have Clash of Mystery Veil on board now. Um, oh yeah, I remember what happened after that. I took a bit of a greedy line here and swung all at Clash because even if they do want to trade off a Savvy Smith, doing so leaves me with a Clash defeated, and if they want to stop that, they have to chump the Warlock. So yeah, they just let me have it, and I get back Erase from his existence, which now makes 3 tokens for 1 mana, because Clash being defeated discounts all your spells. And next turn I can start going to town with a Crow Phoenix, start flashbacking spells, and yeah, they just concede because they realize they cannot get back into this game, and their land's great. All right, that was it for game one. Let's go to game two. Before game two, I'll do a bit on sideboarding though. All right, so we're into sideboards now. Obviously, post game. I'm just recreating the situation. So now we look at what they're going to bring and what I could bring. Um, Realmwealth, Realmwealth Implosion doesn't do anything in this matchup. So they're probably not going to bring it. I would assume, since I'm a graveyard deck, that they would play Crucible of the Burning Sun. Another possibility would be to bring in Shock. Don't think they will, but have to play around it. And I really didn't think they would bring in Divinity, so I didn't bother playing around that. But it's a possibility they could. What on the other hand, what are they boarding out? They're probably going to be boarding out AO and Proclaimer. I'm not sure about Proclaimer. Depends if they want to bring in eight cards, but I could see them bring it in, and I could see them keep it. Um, but AO really in this matchup is rough because I make tokens as well and probably as much as they do. So yeah. On my hand, what I'm going to bring is pretty obvious. I bring in the one-sided board wipe in Advance of Fire and Faith. I do bring in the other two copies of Three Shell Charm because that counter spells the Honesty, which is their win con. And I'm assuming I do bring in the Bloom for the three copies of Bloom just to silence the Crucible that they're probably bringing in. And I do think I bring the Unraveled Thoughts. To make room for that, I side out eight of my creatures. I think I get rid of these three, and I'm not sure what the other two I'm bringing out are, because it's been a while. Let me think. Yeah, no, I don't remember what I ended up siding out, but I think this was mostly what I was looking at. So yeah, let's see you in game two. So we're into game two. They obviously choose the play. This is the hand they first see, I think. Uh, yeah. They end up mulling it. I'm not exactly sure why, but I can guess that maybe they think that I have removal for Kitsune Matriarch, and six Raise the Alarms aren't going to cut it if I do, which is fair. I do have the removal, but it only comes down on two, sorry. Looking at my own hand here, I cannot move the cards. Okay. I do have Golden Bloom, which can allow me to silence any key card. I have another copy if I need to name one and then name another one, for example. Um, I have Get Your Wish to get my engines, and I do have removal, so I think I end up keeping this hand because I want to drag the game out, and I think this hand allows me to do that. Like I have answers for any other of their play. I think on this match I was also doing something else at the same time for work, so I was not paying attention to the fact that I could this hand was very passive and very reactive. But as I said in the pregame, I think I'm fine being reactive in this match. So they do end up mulling. Um, let's see what they get. They get a similar hand with a Kitsune and Raise the Alarm. More lands this time. I'm assuming they're going to bottom one. And Sparks of Revolution, which can at least threaten a flip. Because Kitsune Matriarch can go to 3 toughness, 3 power for the Source you control dealt 3 or more damage this turn. And obviously they're not going to have trouble making a lot of tokens for the first clause. So yeah, they do shock a land, play Kitsune Matriarch, and pass. Also some on the draw I get to see more cards. I top deck Dissonne, which doesn't do which I cannot play immediately, but at least I can play Dissonne with high voltage. I decided to play Mountain first because this enters untapped as long as I have a Mountain, so might as well play the Mountain first, threaten an instant or something. They play Runes Awaken, Kitsune Matriarch grows to 2/2. And at least since now they have the land in hand, they can use Runes Awaken's second ability to make a token. So next time they can like play a land tapped, activate, and play Sparks, which could be a problem. I see another high voltage. Decide to hold back for now. Wait for them to make a move. Let's see what they do. So I think they should play a land tapped here because they have no reason to shock it in. They don't have mana to spend, but I think they do it for the bluff or something. Um, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. So they do activate Runes Awaken first, threaten me, make me react. So I'm going to play high voltage, but to do that I need to play Distant first, which cantrips. So I draw Clash Atmosphere Veil, which is very good for this matchup in general, and I kill the Matriarch. They do make the third token, only two can attack this turn, so I'll go to 16. Oh no, they can play Sparks of Revolution, right? So I'm going down to 17, to 15 this turn, sorry. Math. And they do get to mark the first clause, but as I mentioned in the pregame, they have very few ways to actually deal 3 damage. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Currently I'm land screwed, but I think I'm probably fine even then because I still have 3 Stral Charm and they're only pressuring few damage, and as I can see now, they don't have land in hand. I do end up top decking a third land, but it's not a blue land, so I cannot play Clash. So I can just chill right now. I can hold 3 Stral Charm for removal and high voltage, or just high voltage. I forget about it for now, but I forget I can also flashback this in if I just they're not doing anything threatening. They do play a land tapped because they might as well, right? And here they play Advance of the Scented March, which is also Raise the Alarm. But since there's currently no way in the format to kill battles, I end up counter spelling it because that's the best way I have. And I'm still holding up a high voltage, obviously. So here they swing for 4. Uh, I take it. I can't do much about it. I could high voltage token, but I think it's not worth it. I do end up getting Primal Fissure, which enters tab, so still no Clash Administered Veil for me. Let's see, what do they draw? Here they draw into Honesty, which, as I mentioned, is a key card in this matchup. But here they don't have a way to play Honesty and also make tokens on the same turn. So it's just going to be a threat for next turns, but have the Golden Blooms to silence them, quite literally. So they do play Honesty. Um, for now, it can tap my blockers, but I don't have any. And it can put counters on creatures, but they don't have any. So it just really 3 mana do nothing. I take and go down to 7, I think. And here I have, so here I think I'm going to forget the descent in my graveyard. Here I think it was correct to not fetch on my upkeep and see if I get a land first. That way I can play both Clash and Bloom. I'm considering bolting a token, but end up not going for it because I see that they don't really have burn, and now I see that they have 0 cards in hand, so they are in top deck mode. I do end up fetching right now though. Fetch the island is fine. I still draw into another land, so never punished, I guess. So I think I'm probably playing Clash and Bloom right now, considering other options, but seeing they don't have burn, I'm only taking 3 damage next turn, because I will get a token off Clash, and if they don't threaten me very hard right now, I can just probably win off of Clash making a billion tokens. Also, there's some funny interaction with Clash. If you play a bolt on Clash, you can get back the bolt and defeat it with it, which is very good when with a high voltage, because doing so only costs you 1 mana. So here, they cycle their lands, right? They do play these lands and they end up drawing into another one, so they're really not doing anything. This is a game I should have lost, probably. But yeah, they ended up flowing out. Right now, they really don't have anything. They just have the 4 tokens. Sparks is not doing anything. Honesty is disabled with the Golden Bloom. So yeah, they can't even tap down my small token. I think I killed the colorless soldier, but the other one, um, because colors matter or something. Um, I think I was playing around a melon that I didn't have or something. I'm not sure. Let's see, what do I end up doing now? I could get your wish, grab a discern, which is 2 spellcasts. I could high voltage. I'm really fine here. Like, I can cast any spells in my deck with the Get Your Wish. So they did end up bringing out the shock. Um, so they go to end step and end up realizing they want to go to combat, which is fine for me. Because again, I realized that they cannot do anything. So yeah, let's see. They swing with all three, um, threatening to put me down to two and then shock. But now I can get your wish, get anything I want in my deck, and first get a token off of it. I'm not sure what I end up grabbing. I think I grabbed this end just to get another spell cast. Yep. And here I should play high voltage on Clash and tap differently so that I can just get more tokens and don't even risk. But I end up forgetting about it. Like here, I could have typed the Glimmervale Lake instead of Mountain, cast high voltage, and yeah, the game was probably over at this point. So here I'm thinking because I don't see the line of killing my own clash. I mean defeating my own clash. How I want to block. I do check, and they don't have any 3 damage burn spells, so they would need the shock plus another spell, which they do have mana for, admittedly. But I can grab a counter spell off of Get Your Wish. Even a counter spell that counters any spell because I bought it in the cryptic command counter spell. Um, I end up seeing another 3 shell charm. And let's see what I do now. I think I should hold back right now and like not do anything. Hold up mana for Get Your Wish. Um and yeah. Here I could die to Shock plus the other spell though, which is something like this is when you're winning this game so hard, like this I won't this game is over. I won't. I'm holding up too much spells. I have too much tutors. Like they cannot break me. Unless they have to, and when you're at this position when the game is basically won, you start thinking about how do you lose. And here how I lost is the shock they have in hand plus another burn spell. So yeah, let's just fast forward because there's not much interesting here to see. They swing out. I play decent for my graveyard. High voltage a token, kill both tokens. Start playing lands, and I do get the counter spell. And now, yeah, I can just get your wish, grab another clash even, play clash, hold up mana still. Again, I'm still dying to because I tapped out my 2 blue sources. I could have died to the double burn line, but ended up not mattering. Get back another high voltage, another bounce spells. Like I'm really chilling. I even hotcast high voltage from my hand to defeat it, start flashbacking, and now I have infinite tokens. Like they cannot get back into this game. I even play here. Okay, here I play a funny line. Let's go through it. So I have 2 clashes, and I defeat my own advance with sorry, yeah. Okay, there we go. I defeat my own advance and Fire and Faith to get enough tokens for lethal. They try to play shock, but yeah, I have the counter spell now. Um, and yeah, that's how the game ends. It was really a good game. I don't think it's a good matchup for them, um, because we're both on the same token axis, but I'm also on the spell axis, which is outside of the board, and they cannot interact with my how do I say this? My primary axis is playing through spells, and my secondary axis is controlling the board with tokens. And I can since I have this secondary axis, I can interact with their game plan of aggroing me through tokens, but they cannot interact with my spells game plan. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the matchup. They're also running Castle's Belly, which is an Oblivion ring that buffs your creatures, but it only exiles creatures itself, so it cannot interact with Clash. And yeah, it was good games though. And since we were almost the last game in the round, I'm now parent against Scribble, and let's see how it goes. I'll see you for the review of that game.